Alright guys, so today we actually have a new addition to the GR Corolla, and that is something I have seen so many people do on the forums, and not only does it protect your car, but it also, I think, makes it look a little bit better. So let's hop into this package that we just got right here, and we'll dive in and see what it is. So if you guys didn't guess it already, this is some PPF from NEOPPF. I do want to say thanks for them to send out a roll of this. So the first thing we're going to be doing with this is applying some PPF to the carbon roof. So if you haven't seen people do it already, it looks really good. It turns this matte carbon look to a nice glossy finish. Not only will it protect the carbon roof, but it also just makes it look so much better, and it goes much better with the shiny paint. So let's open this up. This should be plenty. We're going to be doing more than just the roof, but in today's video we're only going to be putting the paint protection film on the roof, because I know removing that antenna is probably going to be fairly involved for one or two little bolts. So this is what it looks like now, and this is what it looks like after. So if you guys are going to stick around to the end of the video to see how this process works, but let's dive in and open this up. I just opted for a clear PPF, but NEOPPF offers a huge variety of different tinted PPF, so you can almost change the color of your car with just PPF. So whether or not you like vinyl or PPF, depending on what you're better at with working with, but this is what we're going to go with, a nice clear to go match the rest of the clear on the car. So let's clean this up. The car is fairly clean already. I cleaned it a few days ago, but I did drive it. So let's give the car a good cleaning again. We're going to have to take off these side pieces, figure out how to take off that antenna, which we're going to have to hop inside, and clean all the little cracks and crevices so we are good to go. Alright, first thing we're going to do, let's hop in the car and figure out how to take this little shark fin. Alright, so I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to assume I'm going to want to take off these clips here for the headliner, and hopefully I don't have to take off much to get to it, but we'll start with these three clips and possibly the weather stripping, so that way we can get behind here. Alright, so these are actually like a pull tab that you want to get the center out first, and then they can kind of compress. Alright, so taking those three clips off definitely does not seem to give me enough wiggle room, because I don't feel like I'll break the headliner if I keep tugging on it. So we're gonna go from the sides and see what else we have to take apart. But I figured this was going to be the hardest part of this because of all the other cars I've done the same thing in. I was hoping a hatchback would be a little bit better. Probably after a good 30-40 minutes, I had to take off pretty much the entire trunk, and that way I can start popping off all the panels up here. So I do recommend you start from here, because this is where everything kind of starts at. You're going to want to disconnect this portion, then you can kind of start pulling away the other panels at the same time. So I mean, with this being a new car, all those clips are super stiff, so you will have to give them a decent pry on them in order to break them loose. I didn't pull out the entire headliner, obviously, because I did not want to, but I did remove the handles on both sides. So those handles, there is two clips holding each one of them out, and then you'll get to, there's like spring-loaded metal clips that you're going to want to pry on and then pull the handle out at the same time. There's no bolts whatsoever. And that way you can kind of sag the headliner enough to actually get access to it. So obviously you don't want to pull on your headliner too much and crease it and ruin it, but this will allow you to pull it down enough, because you got to reach your hand in there maybe like 5 or 6 inches. If I have any pictures, I'll show you, because I took a few pictures trying to figure out what was underneath there. But once you take it out, this is what you'll have. There's a plug that you'll want to unclip underneath there, as well as a bolt with a very interesting like mounting bracket as well. So all this came out at once. This is a 10mm, so once that comes out, then we'll have a hole in the roof that we'll have to clean around and everything like that. So let's get going to cleaning everything now, and then we'll get ready to pre-cut some of this vinyl and get it on here and lay it out. Alright, so I just took off the I don't know what you want to call these, the in-channel protectors or whatever, and I didn't realize that these are going to be double-sided taped on here, so you will have to get rid of all the double-sided tape on here. And I'm only doing this so that way I have a nice clean edge, and if my cut edge isn't perfect, it'll be hidden by this, so you wouldn't have to take these off. But I'm going to try to run the PPF inside this channel, so that way it's seamless and you'll never even see any of the cut lines. So we're gonna have to scrape all this paint, all this goo off of here. This might be different if you don't have the carbon fiber roof, but obviously if you have the carbon fiber roof, this is how they attach it. There's some clips here that are kind of holding it in place, but then to keep it stuck down they use tape. So I'm gonna spend a decent amount of time getting all this tape cleaned up on both of these. I'm just gonna leave the tape on here for now, but I will replace it once I'm ready. And then once we get everything cleaned up, I'm gonna clean around the car too, to make sure we don't get any debris or anything stuck inside of the PPF. So let's clean all this up and get ready to lay it down. Alright, so I got a 6-foot piece cut decently, so that way I got a little bit of overlap on the front and the back. Obviously the width, I have plenty of room to work with on here. So this vinyl or PPF looks to be a 3-layer, so there's a protective film on top of the actual PPF, and then you peel it back and you have the actual tack layer. So I'm going to try to do this by myself, and hopefully I don't have any issues, but I'm gonna tack down one side, and then I'm gonna slowly peel it back and get it wet. So PPF should typically be installed wet, so I've kind of given everything a wipe down like 2 or 3 times because this stuff is very staticky. So I pretty much pulled up any of the dirt that was on the ground. So make sure you do have a pretty clean environment. But let's just chug along on this and see how well this comes out, and hopefully it comes out good. As a one person, this is probably not the easiest to do. I definitely recommend an extra hand. I probably would have an extra hand, but I'm more stubborn and I'm just going to do it myself. But I have this pretty much glassed out as best as possible. There are a few little bubbles here and there that, I mean, should come right out as I start squeegeeing this out. But for the most part, I got everything glassed out, looking pretty good. No big creases or anything like that. And I just used a lot of water. A soapy water solution is what I pretty much use. So I'm going to start from the middle and just start squeegeeing, and hopefully I don't run into any issues. But this vinyl seems like it's really good quality so far. I mean, it's a nice thick vinyl, very easy to work with, so not super sticky either, but I also have this soapy solution down. So but let's get this glossed out and squeegeed, and then hopefully everything comes out perfect. I don't know, probably a good 20 minutes or so squeegeeing this out. I got this looking really good. I mean, it is actually coming out, it looks wet. I mean, that's literally what it is. It literally looks wet, but it's completely dry. So the only thing now that I have to do is I gotta get all my edges good and then cut everything. So it's probably the worst part of it all. So I'm just gonna pretty much probably start a line here, just so that way I can get ready, because this cut doesn't need to be as important because I'm going to hide it underneath the molding. But the cut here, and then I don't know what I'm going to do yet here. I'm going to cut this over and see if I can bend it down over the roof. I know PPF really doesn't like to do that so much unless if you're really good at it. I might apply some heat, but I'm just going to get all the excess out and try to get this looking as good as possible. But this definitely is a time-consuming process. Just mainly the prep is the time-consuming process, but all in all, I think it looks really good. What do you guys think? Do you guys think the GR Corolla should have came with a glossy roof, or did you guys like the matte look better? I'm like 99% done. I have pretty much all the edges. I'm trying to get these corners to tack down just a little bit more, but they're not going to be seen. But I still just want this to be as good as possible, even if you don't see it. So I still just got to work these channels on this side and that side. I pretty much trimmed around these little clips here, trimmed around the clips in the back. Again, have another little corner I just want to add a little heat to. But all in all, I mean, everything looks really good. You can see right here on this little like bump where the hinge is at, I need to try to tuck the vinyl down there just a little bit better. But all in all, I mean, the edge looks a million bucks. So, and then the front, if you guys are curious, if you guys are going to do this yourself, there is a little bit of a weather stripping right here, and I just cut the vinyl pretty much right here in the crack of the windshield, and then that left just enough to tuck down inside of the channel. So This thing is looking really, really good. I don't know how the garage lighting is doing it, but I would like to take it outside, but it started to rain. So luckily I'm in the garage, so we'll continue on this. And one other thing that I don't know if I'm gonna try it or not, maybe I will, but I know it's probably gonna fail, is wrapping the shark fin for the roof. I mean, obviously this is a matte black against the carbon, the gloss carbon now. I might just keep it for now. Maybe if it bugs me, I might buy, I would imagine the black GR Corolla has a gloss black one. And probably even the Corolla hatches probably have just a gloss black one. So I might just leave that there, because I know PPF does not like to do very strong bends, especially if you want it to stay for a long time. So I'm just gonna leave that there. But yeah, let me tidy up all this. I gotta cut a little slit in there for the antenna, and then we can wrap this up and make this thing look brand new. Alright, so I've pretty much finished all the edges and everything is looking really good. The only thing I have to put on is these, but that'll probably be another day, because I'm gonna wait until I can actually pull this outside. But it has been non-stop raining pretty much since halfway through installing this. But now let's put this interior back together, get everything wrapped up and looking brand new again. Got the interior all back together, everything looks good. Headliner has no issues, so that is a plus. And like I said, everything looks really, really good. There are like little tiny air bubbles, but I'm hoping that let's see if I can even find them. Like, I don't know if the camera will pick it up or not, but there are like a few little tiny air bubbles that I think there's a little bit of moisture still trapped under there. So once this gets put out in the sun, that should help it. But yeah, so next time you see this car, it's gonna be sunny and we're gonna be outside. All right guys, so it's been about a week since I put the PPF on the roof, and this is the first time today that I have taken it out of the garage, and I have to say it looks amazing. So let's go take a look at it. I do still have to put these things on. I just finished cleaning up the back of it, trying to get all the glue off or the tape off, but look at how shiny this looks. Alright, so the sun is definitely shining on it and it looks really good. I don't know how much the camera picks up on it, but it's amazing how much more the carbon fiber pops with the gloss PPF on it. So let's wrap up the in-channel pieces, because if we look on the inside of here, I wrapped the PPF all the way down, and I have a little bit of air bubbles here that I didn't really try to force in, because this is going to be not seen anyways, but it's a full on wrap over here. I just made sure the spot where the double-sided tape is going to sit is very flush. I have worked with a few different PPFs before in the past couple years, and this one has to probably be the easiest one I've ever worked with. So, I mean, if you're looking for something to be easy to install, user friendly, this is actually very, very forgiving. It's not thick. I mean, the one I'm using is 7.5 mil thick, but they do make thicker ones. I don't recommend it unless if you're really good at it, because it doesn't flex around corners as good, because typical vinyl is probably half that thickness, so it's way easier to work with. But this stuff, I've worked with stuff in the past, and the NEOPPF is definitely a very user-friendly one. If you guys are interested, I will drop a link to this, and you guys can get a roll or just enough to do the roof and the hood or something like that. But because I do definitely plan on wrapping more pieces, not only on this car, but on some of my other cars. We'll get them wrapped and protected as well. Got the channels back in there. I almost wish they were a gloss, but everything still looks good. Hides all the little imperfections that I had down there. These things, I do have to say, they suck. It really relies on double-sided tape to hold them down. Hopefully, the tape that I took off of there was kind of thick. The one I put on there was a little thin, but hopefully it still makes contact. If not, these things will be flying off. But this side is still sticking up a little bit. That side has not. I need to press down on this side a little bit more and try to weigh down that tape just a little bit. But all in all, this thing came out really good, especially, like I said, this isn't something I do all the time. There are still little imperfections here and there, but like one of them being my cut line down here. I might go back and try to trim that up just a little bit. I was hoping it would hide a little more, but it doesn't. And then I don't know how much it'll show on camera, but I have these little tiny air pockets because there's dirt underneath there, so it won't sit all the way down. But all in all, it looks really, really good, and in the long term, it's going to protect the carbon fiber roof. So, because I know Toyota, they pretty much tell you not to park this car outside at all, pretty much because of the roof. But now I don't have to worry about it because it's protected, UV resistant, scratch resistant, all the other good stuff that PPF adds to the roof. But again, if you guys are interested, I will put a link down below. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.